Real talk.
Hello, welcome back to the Humans Talking podcast. I am FRENO, joined with Brylon. What's up, man? What you got going on in your life?
Oh, not much. Staying busy, not a whole lot really. What about you?
Yeah, not much. Working on a few projects here and there. Nothing too serious. Actually, this is interesting. I just found out the other day. I got my W-2 for my job since we're getting ready to do our taxes, and apparently, my company has not been taking out federal income tax on
So
my checks.
why would they not?
Exactly.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? Right. So literally, my W-2 came in. It's like, yeah, we withheld $16. And I'm like, that's not right. So of course, when I enter in my W-2 information into TurboTax, they're like, okay, you owe the government $3,000.
Oh,
So I am not happy right now because I don't necessarily have $3,000 laying around.
yeah, you thought they were doing it for you.
Yeah, so I literally had to like email the company and I'm like, yo, why? Because they essentially put on my pay stubs and because I had to go back and check. And on my pay stubs, it says there's an asterisk on each paycheck that says, excluded from federal taxes. And I'm like, why am I excluded? I'm not. You have. There are special qualifications it takes to be excluded from taxes. So why would they just automatically do that from day one of me working at this company to now? And it sucks that I didn't notice until now, because why would I check, the paychecks when it's just direct deposit? Like the money goes into my account every 2 weeks. My insurance comes out. I've got health insurance. Everything's great. And then I get my W-2 and it's like, oh yeah, you owe taxes. And it's like, wait a minute. Hang on. So yeah, I had to email the company. Hopefully they'll respond to me Monday or Tuesday, but this is definitely not tight.
See if they'll pay for it.
I doubt they will, but it's super infuriating because they essentially like put me in a position to where I owe the government money now.
You're home $3,000 that you don't necessarily.
Yeah, I'm like, what the? I was like, why were you guys not taking out federal tax? Because they took out Social Security and Medicare like they always do. That's normal. But for whatever reason, from day one of me working with this company, they did not take out federal tax. And I checked with my other coworkers and they're like, yeah, they took out our federal tax. And I was like, why am I the only one?
Some usually they just do that automatically.
Right. And I'm like, and I checked my W-4, which is the form you have to sign, when you onboard with a company. Because it's like, hey, dependent, spouse, whatever, check this, check that. And there is a checkbox that says, do you want to be exempt from taxes? Which is a big red flag. And it's like, no, I do not want to be exempt from paying taxes because of this very reason. It's a very simple checkbox that you select, which I've done. And for whatever reason, they still exempted taxes from me. I'm like,
Interesting.
and I'm mad that I didn't know. I mean, why would I notice that? Like, that's never happened before. Why would I notice that I would be exempt?
Yeah.
Until tax season. It's like, wait a minute.
Well, damn. I hope you guys get it figured out. That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, we can just never go out to do anything outside of the house for the rest of the year because we're going to be paying back the government, which is infuriating.
Yeah. Well, damn. What a way to start.
Right?
Hopefully. Yeah.
Because, I'm all eager, like, oh, cool, W-2, time for the tax return, claim the kids. We're going to get a nice, tax return. We're going to make plans about how we're going to spend this money, pay off some bills, lower the debt, whatever. And it's like, nope. You're not plus, you are negative. And it's like, oh my goodness.
I even started my taxes. I guess I should do that.
Yeah, because you know me, I like to get started early. I like to just get stuff done. But surprise, surprise, like, oh, you owe. So it's like, I'm so upset.
Yeah, man, that sucks.
But You've got some stuff going on in your life with the music, right? With the band?
I do. Well, yeah, I'm in a band. We're playing some stuff. I don't know. We've got a couple of things in the works. We're still kind of getting off the ground, but it's looking promising. I don't want to, give away too much unless it doesn't, in case it doesn't happen. But
Right.
but yeah, um, staying busy, hustling, um, playing lots of shows, booking lots of shows, trying to get the website and all that good stuff in order.
And
And
before
then,
you know it, world tour.
oh yes, we're almost there. We're almost there. Yeah, doing that, trying to get out of my job and pivot to a more interesting, fun thing. So if anyone knows UI, UX design or graphic design, product managing, hit me up. I could use a mentor or some help or anything you got, really.
Yeah, my knowledge lies in networking, and keeping connections running. I don't know anything about UX or UI.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully it goes well. We'll see how it is. That's a lots of hustling. Um, yeah, I'm tired. I just want to play some video games.
Right? Yeah. Like I mentioned before the podcast, I've been playing a lot of Vampire Survivor clones, and man, it's such a simple concept for a game to just move your joystick, move your character around the screen, and they just automatically attack waves and waves of enemies. And then, after every wave, you level up and get more abilities and more skills until, you get so strong, you're just killing everything on the screen. Very simple game, not complex at all. And it's amazing how effective it is. I can only imagine developers who made Vampire Survivors probably didn't spend like too much time on it. Kind of like, I guess, Flappy Bird or something. Just a simple game and just made probably millions.
A lot of money.
Yeah, because it doesn't require a lot of work, I would imagine, to make a game like that. And then it blows up. So now you have all of these clones coming out. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is such a simple design. Let's make our own version of that." So I've just been going down a rabbit hole playing like clones of Vampire Survivors, and it's so fun. It's like not complicated at all. It gets difficult at times, but yeah,
I've still never played that game. It's on my list.
yeah, it's on
I,
Game Pass.
yeah, I've been playing a lot of WoW because our we have a lot of friends. I'm not really into it all that much. I mean, it's enjoyable, but I'm playing because all of my friends are. And then
Yeah,
all my free time, I've been playing Pathfinder, one of those games, and that's been very, very enjoyable. Highly recommend that one. You can just have them auto attack, so you just make decisions, level them up, and then obviously direct them through a maze of like a dungeon, and then they just do all the work for you.
this is true.
It's really fun.
Yeah, there's a game coming out soon. It's coming out in March called I believe it's called Wolon.
Oh yeah,
That not to be mistaken with Wukong, that's coming out. I don't know when that's coming out.
totally what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but Wolon, I think it's called. Matter of fact, let me just get the name. Bam Margera. Dang it. Hang on, I just had it. Okay. Yeah, Wolong Fallen Destiny is what it's called. And
Yeah.
my goodness, I've been kind of keeping up with it. It looks so cool. And I'm like, I cannot wait to play that. It's coming out in March. I think that's going to be my next game. It recently saw that they're going to drop it on Game Pass, which is like mind-boggling because that looks like a pretty intense AAA game that they're just giving away for free essentially on Game Pass.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I'm super conflicted because I don't want to spend money and I would love to play the game for free. However, as you're well aware with Game Pass, especially on PC, the Xbox controllers never freaking work.
Yeah.
So if I were to get Wolon for free on Game Pass PC, I would have to use mouse and keyboard, which I don't really like doing with, you know, those types of games. You know, Sekiro, Dark Souls. I don't like playing a mouse and keyboard with that. I want to play with a PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
So I might have to bite the bullet and just spend the $50 and buy it on Steam. And then
Maybe
just so I can play with a PlayStation controller, because the Xbox
why,
controller just doesn't work at all with Game Pass.
why don't you just buy a new? I mean, I know you're having trouble with your controller. What if you just buy like a Xbox official controller? It's the same price as the game, and then see if that works any better. Because
So
I've had
yeah,
I switched my controller. I use an Xbox controller, whatever, and then I realized that the connection, like the USB-C cord I was using, was what was messing it up. So I switched the cord to like a better built cord, and it seems to not have those issues anymore. I found out pretty recently, actually.
that is something for me to try because that would save me money. But the cord it came with is plugged directly into the controller and plugged directly into my my hard drive here, and it. I've never wrapped it up. I've never moved it. It's just been plugged in once, and it's just. I think it worked. I think the first couple weeks I had it, and then after that, it just stopped working for no reason. And I'm like, this cable hasn't moved.
Yeah, it might be the controller or
It's
the cord.
so stupid. I'm like, this is like a brand new controller, Xbox controller, specifically for Game Pass, and like it just nope doesn't work. And I'm like, that is the most infuriating thing. Yet with a PlayStation 5 controller, I've never had any issues ever.
This Xbox products are cheap.
That is so stupid.
If I were you, though, I would, instead of spending $60 for one game,
Yeah,
I would try to buy a really, try to get a discount or like on an official Xbox controller and get a really good like thick padded cord or whatever they're called, the ones that are like braided.
that's the cord I have with this controller. It's braided and thick. That's what's pissing me off about it.
Yeah, but one that you can like swap out. If you get like an official controller, you can always change the cord
Yeah.
if you need to. Maybe you'll have a little more luck. And that way, if you just buy that for 60 or whatever it is, maybe it'll work on the rest of your games.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do something because I definitely want to play that game. It looks dope. Yeah, yeah. That I can go on a whole tangent about dumbass Xbox controllers. I mean, they don't feel bad to me. I can adjust to the way my hand feels with different controllers, but the fact that they just break so often just irritates me.
Yeah, that would be pretty frustrating.
It's just like, man, just work. You have one job. Just be a controller.
Just want you to play.
Yeah, I want to be able to move the joystick and push buttons and not have that not work. Like how
Yeah.
you have one job, literally.
I got an Xbox Elite 2 controller to play Final Fantasy on my PC because I played originally on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And within 3 months, it was broken. The D-pad doesn't like. I literally took it out of the case, plugged it in, played with it, unplugged it, put it back in the case. That's all I did with it.
Yep.
And then after 3 months, the D-pad broke, and I was just like, "All right, well,
Not even excessive use.
yeah, this was $200."
Yeah, it's just Microsoft, get your shit together and stop making shit products.
Yeah, make sure that your controllers work with your PC, which
Yeah.
you also own.
You guys are too much of a billionaire company to be making some cheap ass, broke ass products. Y'all have way too much money to be scamming people like that. Fucking everyone on Game Pass is paying y'all out the ass. Speaking of Microsoft, did you hear they just had like a 10,000 people layoff?
Yeah, they the whole games industry had a massive layoff. A lot of people from GameSpot.
Yeah, and I think they reported that Microsoft had like a $45 million profit this past year, and they
Yeah, and
still
they're
laid off 10,000 people,
Yeah,
including the story writer of the Halo series, who's been working there for like 10 plus years.
yeah, they fired a bunch of people from 343 Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
We made profit. Y'all gotta go.
Yeah, good job, everyone. Good news, everyone.
You're all fired.
Yeah, yeah, disappointing, stupid.
Yeah, greedy corporations are they'll never cease to amaze me. It doesn't matter how much money they make, they will still lay people off.
That's true.
Like, I could understand if it's like Ubisoft. I'm sure you've heard about that drama, Ubisoft. they're gonna go under. Their stocks have tanked,
Yeah.
and the CEO literally sent out a company email addressing the future of the company to all the employees. And this asshole told his employees, "The ball is in your court."
Yeah, it's up to y'all,
And
guys.
it's up to y'all whether we fail or not. And I'm like, fuck you, man. We are not the ones making decisions around here. We just fucking work on the games. Like it's your job to run this business and to keep us on track and to tell us, when stuff needs to be released and what needs to be done. And now he's trying to blame the employees for being a bad business owner. He's like, yeah, it's y'all's fault if this company fails. And it's like, no, the fuck it's not.
It's like you guys have no vision. You come out with the same game, essentially. It's just a map full of shit on it.
So
For every franchise. Like every single one of your franchises are almost exactly the same. Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, it's just the first person and third person. The only difference.
And they had a Prince of Persia remake they were doing that looks like dog shit. It looks like PS2 graphics, and they're like, what? Why?
Yeah.
And they actually canceled everybody's pre-orders of that game because it looks so bad.
Yep.
I mean, they're literally hemorrhaging money left and right from bad executive decisions. And now the CEO is like, all right, ball's in your court. And it's like, no, you can't blame the employees for being a bad leader. Like, they literally work on what you tell them to work on. Like, whatever dumbass game you want them to make, they have to make it. Like, that's what sucks about being a game developer. It's like, a buddy of ours said, he works in the games industry, and he recently said to me, he's like, dude, imagine, because we were talking about like horrible games. It's like, man, I can't believe some people like buy these shitty games, or I can't believe they released that. And then he's like, bro, imagine being a game developer working on a piece of shit game. Like, it's 3-4 years out before it's released, and you're working on it, and you already know what you're working on is dog shit. And you have to keep working on it every day for the next 3 years until it's released. So you know ahead of time this is going to be horrible. I can't imagine how many game developers out there are working on games that they know is going to be bad. But because of their bosses, the CEOs, their managers are forcing them to make this. And it's like, hey, this is a paycheck. This game's going to suck, but we can't be blamed because we know the game is bad. We know what it takes to fix it, but the higher-ups don't want to listen. They want to put a bunch of microtransactions or whatever, change some stuff around, and now this game is like horrible. It was a cool idea in the beginning, but now it's dog shit. I couldn't imagine working on a broken product for years and knowing it's going to be stupid.
And then also you finally release it, and then everyone just shits on you and calls you an idiot.
And you've known for you knew before it even came out. You knew when you were working on it, it was going to be bad.
There's hundreds of other people probably that are working on the same game that are, just doing the best they can.
Yeah, with the shit they've been given. And then you have the CEO saying, well, it's your fault. Ball's in your court. It's like, no. We had so many meetings and ideas about how to fix this. But because you're in charge, you vetoed and said no to all of it. I want y'all to do this. And then when it comes out being bad, he's like, why did y'all make this game stupid? And it's like, this is what you told us to make. We knew it was bad. From the beginning, we knew it was bad. And you wouldn't listen to us because we're not in charge. Trying to blame us, tell us the ball's in our court. Fuck you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting because he was at one point like extremely revered, for moving. Because remember, there was the whole Tencent was trying to buy them for the longest time. And he kind of weathered that storm and got the entire company aligned. But I guess times have changed. And then he also covered up like a bunch of sexual assaults and stuff. So,
yeah. It's wild. It's ridiculous. And it's just freaking asinine and infuriating. So I feel for all the game developers out there who have to work their asses off and have to rush under crunch time to release a product that they know is going to be dog shit, but they need a paycheck. And then if the game doesn't sell well, they're going to get a bunch of hate on the internet or possibly fired at the end of the year because the game didn't sell enough. And it's just like, it sucks to like kind of work for your own demise. You're like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if we don't. Like if the game doesn't sell well, we're probably going to get cut at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It sucks. But I'm sure there's a lot of good game companies out there where they respect their employee feedback and say, hey, we're working on this game, but we're running into this bug. We need to address this or at least delay the game until we fix it. Something, work together as a team instead of the higher up saying, don't worry about it. We'll fix it later. And it's like, no, we need to fix this now. This is a problem. This is going to affect the whole game. It's like, nah, it's fine. Why did the game suck?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You got to listen to your employees, man. I mean, they're the ones making the money for you.
Yep. At least a little bit. I have this problem at my own job. They make a lot of decisions that are like, oh, we're going to do it this way from now on. And then just, as a worker, you hear it and you're like, but that doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, who did you ask? Did you ask anyone who actually does the job? Because I could tell you what you're about to do. It doesn't make any sense, and it's just going to make it harder.
Yeah, this is going to have vast repercussions. But, you can't tell your bosses what to do. They don't want to listen. It's just like having parents. You can't tell your parents anything. They're like, nope, I'm in charge. I know what I'm doing. It's just like, all right, well, here we go. Like, I can't tell you otherwise. I just work here getting a paycheck, and now stuff is messed up. The company's mad. They want to go back to the way things were. And it's like, if y'all just listen to us, listen to employee feedback. Like, we're telling you what we need to succeed. Because if we succeed, you succeed. If you want to make money, let us help you make money. Because then we make money. And it makes our jobs easier.
Yeah.
It's like nobody wants to be fired. Nobody wants to release a bad product. Like, no one just wakes up saying, man, I want to fuck some shit up today. Make my job as hard as possible. Like, nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, it's sad. I don't know. I hope. I guess I feel like the CEO of Ubisoft should probably just step down and get some new blood in there if they want to weather whatever downturn they're in.
Which they never do.
Yeah, that's not how.
Yeah, they're like, this is too much money to just give away. I'm gonna fix this, and if I can't fix it, I'm just gonna blame the employees.
Yeah,
because they're lazy. They don't work hard enough. Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Well, in other news, this is a completely off topic. There was a female cop in Tennessee named Megan Hall. Or do you pronounce it Megan? I'm going to say Megan. Megan Hall. You heard about this story, Brian?
Nope. Don't think so.
Megan Hall, newly formed cop in Tennessee. Pretty young thing. She's a young white girl. Look like she's like early 20s. Pretty young thing. Got sworn in to uphold the law. Came into the police force and started sucking everybody off. She got fired for having sexual escapades with 6 of her male coworkers while on the clock.
Dang.
And they had been rotating her like a rotisserie chicken for like 6 months. And it's so funny because this is pretty young white girl. And then like the 6 cops, like these big black dudes, big people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everybody involved is married. But the story goes, she told everybody that she was in an open marriage. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what she told them. So all the cops started passing her around for like 6 months, sucking them off in the car, meeting them at the hotels for sex romps. I think she had a threesome with one couple. It was wild. I was just laughing my ass off. This pretty young white girl was getting just destroyed by these big dudes.
You said it was on the clock?
On the clock, not off the clock, on the clock.
If it was off the clock, I wouldn't care. And honestly, I don't care.
That's separate, yeah.
But
and it's just the funniest thing because you have to imagine the memes of like this pretty little white girl probably get her face getting photoshopped and like some gangbang pictures.
that really sucks for her.
It does it? Because apparently she was the one initiating. She was the one like pursuing these guys. And they were saying like, she had a drinking problem. She was an alcoholic. Obviously she had some sort of issues going on because it's like, instead of upholding the law, all she wanted to do was suck dudes off. And it's just wild because obviously people in the on the police force caught wind. I guess the ones who weren't sleeping with her, probably the older members, the regular cops who were like just trying to do their job. I'm sure rumors spread around pretty fast that this girl is getting around. So they had to launch an investigation. And of course, when they asked the six dudes, like, hey, has some stuff been going on with you and this girl? Of course, they all denied it. They're like, nah. But eventually, they started coming clean because, like, all right, yeah. And then it's just like, yep, we were on the clock and meet at a hotel or get a blowjob in the car. Just all this stuff went on for months. So naturally, she gets fired. And I think the other cops are all suspended. But it's just like the wildest story. And it's just like, how does this happen? And get this, her husband is a park ranger and he's the son of a pastor. After all this shit went down, he's like, I'm gonna stay with her and work it out. Which leads me to believe either he's a cuck or they probably did have an open marriage.
They probably had an open marriage.
Because why would you want to take your girl back after she had just had a train run on her by six dudes for the past like year? Like having your partner cheat on you with one person is bad enough, but six consistently.
I mean, if it's an open marriage, it's an open marriage. For me personally, I don't give a shit. Consenting adults can make consenting adult decisions. If it's on the clock, sure, you deserve to be fired. If it's off the clock, I don't.
Yeah, that's your own business. Yeah, but bruh,
So,
all six of those dudes were married. You can already imagine when their wives found out. Oh boy, there's gonna be some lawsuits. There's gonna be some divorces.
yeah.
I mean, man.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot. I have a pretty, I don't know,
That shit
open mind
is
when it
so
comes to
wild.
stuff like that. So I just, yeah, that sucks for everyone involved. That's a lot of really stupid decisions. I
Hmm.
guess 7 or so.
I'm thinking
Really,
about how many marriages did she ruin? Well, I guess the guys ruined their marriages by doing it
yeah,
because they knew what was going on.
you can't blame her for that. She's
Y-
in an open marriage. She got the okay. You know,
allegedly. I mean,
okay.
I
If
find it hard to believe that he was okay with all of it. He might have been okay with one, but
no,
because it sounds like he didn't know, which means that even if they did have an open marriage, she kept it from him for a reason. So she
that
probably knew like he wasn't going to be okay with like maybe all the dudes, maybe one guy, but it
that doesn't
doesn't.
make any sense.
It
If an
yeah.
open marriage, then it's an open marriage. There's no. I mean, I just don't think
Well,
that
you set
it,
rules.
he probably doesn't really give a fuck. So personally, I don't know. If you're in an open or a polyamorous relationship and you're approaching people, you don't know if they are or are not. You just say hi, like I'm interested in you. If you can't blame her for ruining those
Right,
marriages.
right, right. Because
Those
she
are
didn't
the
make them have sex with her.
she's not the yeah she's not the one that's forcing them to do anything.
Right.
All they had to do is say, "Nah, bitch, we're on the clock." It's not that deep, you
Or
know.
I'm
These
married. No, thank you.
yeah, I'm married. I have a wife. It's not that hard. I mean, it just sucks. That's but I don't know. I also feel like that they should probably be fired because what is the difference?
Yeah, it does seem a little odd that they fired the party girl because she's. It sounds like she was like a college girl. She was getting drunk and just having sexcapades. You know, more power to you. But it seems weird that she was fired and the guys got put on, you know, suspension. Probably because they've been there longer and she was still new. It does seem kind of unfair.
Yeah, or I'm sure whoever is in charge of making those decisions, like, yeah, it's fine. I get it. Sex, you know. I don't know. That's just what I
It's
would
like,
think.
man, I feel bad for all their wives. It's like, man, y'all finna get divorced. They're gonna take the kids. It's like you cheated on me with that white bitch for 6 months. Ah,
Yeah. Well, hopefully, maybe someone will learn something. I doubt it, but
it was just a wild story. I'm just like, oh my goodness, that. Ah, I'm just imagining the memes. It's just so funny to me. Oh my goodness. But yeah, not other than that, not a lot has happened in the news this past week.
Oh,
Um, we had the whole Logan Paul make an apology to CoffeeZilla. I mean, if you care about that sort of thing, but that wasn't really. I guess some people care about that news. I kind of don't. I mean, it was a half-ass apology, and he still thinks he's the victim in the whole scam. But whatever.
I
Um,
mean, probably did get fucked over. Didn't so I was looking up or kind of doing research on this. So the guy who he worked with to come up with this idea, he was scammed by him already once before, right? So apparently the story is that
there were
one
numerous people conning
well one
him.
of but one of the main guys who helped him organize it sold him like a box of Pokemon cards for like
Oh,
several thousands, millions of
yeah,
dollars.
that one's old.
They were
Yeah, he
fake.
opened it up and it
Yeah,
was like
but
baseball cards and shit.
this is also the same guy that later he was like, "Hey, I'm making this NFT thing. I want you to help me with that." So right there shows an extreme lack of judgment because you got scammed by someone and then you literally let him do it again to you. Why
Yeah,
did you think he wouldn't do it again?
and this is
And
why people are like, you need to stop playing the victim. You're a grown ass man who purposely continue to do business with shady ass people
yeah,
because it's not because one of the people working under him wasn't a criminal. Numerous people working under him are criminals, and it's like, bro, you there's no way you could have not known that.
yeah,
Your
and
PR team, your background check, people would have known. You would have known. There's no
yeah.
way they just hired some random off the street to
Did you
manage millions of dollars.
did you also hear he was like, "Yeah, it's gonna take a long time for us to get this off the ground," and then someone built the entire site
In
in
like 3 days.
one day. It was one day. Yeah, that's even worse.
And he's
It's
like, hey, here you go. Here's two animals. Here's an egg. All right, done. It's like
yeah,
pretty simple.
yeah, hilarious.
Yeah, that shit is wild.
Just embarrassing. He just needs to go away for a while.
Well,
I get it. You're a kid born on the internet. You have brain rot from being there and thinking your life is a certain way because you don't live in a reality. Uh, but like, just go away for a little while. Maybe like actually reflect and recalibrate because the world doesn't work the way you think it does, unfortunately.
well, a narcissist can't do that. They always got to be in the spotlight and have the attention on them. So it's whatever. It's a problem of his own making. Like it's just infuriating that he keeps trying to play like he's the victim, and it's like you're not, bro. Literally everyone who lost money and got screwed over is the victim. You chose to work with bad people. You chose to get mad about the fact that you got caught, and then you chose to, play the victim. It's like it's all the whole thing is just people are still mad about it because they're like, man, even your apology was half-assed because he still didn't take complete accountability and he still acted like he's the victim in his apology. And it's like, bro,
Yeah.
everything about this is your fault.
Yeah.
And he's not even going to refund all the money. He's only going to refund a fraction of it. So, I mean, it's better than nothing.
He couldn't if he wanted to.
I mean, that dude makes plenty of money. But yeah, there's no way his ego is going to let him just give all the money back. He's like, I'll just give a little bit back, even though I'm fucking rich.
Yep.
Oh. But there's that whole fiasco. And then we got some somber news here. Well, I mean, I guess this could be bittersweet depending on how you look at it. But Cobra Kai is being canceled by Netflix.
I don't think it's being canceled as much as it's ending. Just
That's why I'm saying it's bittersweet because they're
ending it on their terms, so that's good.
they're in. So the sixth season will be the final season. In my opinion, I understand. I'm like anything that goes on past 5 seasons, you're kind of milking it. I mean, you can only do so much with a story. I mean, you could literally just make stuff up and go on for 20 seasons. Shows do it all the time, but personally, I don't think I think they diminish in quality when they go on too long.
Yeah.
And I love Cobra Kai. So, and as much as I would hate for it to be canceled, it does make sense. It's been going on for a while. It come on. And on a high note, and don't
Yeah.
try to milk it, to 20 seasons and it gets like ridiculously stupid.
How many more like backstabs can they possibly add in
I
there?
mean,
Like
because there's only 3 Karate
and
Kid movies.
and it's great right now. So just
Yeah,
let's call it a day. And
and then on a
I
high note,
I totally respect it.
yeah, I hope everyone gets like the sunset ending and they all come together and resolve their differences and like finally, you know, end this karate war they've been going on with. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm gonna be sad when it's gone, but I'm gonna love all the memories I had with it. It's by far one of my favorite shows on Netflix, by far.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that show. It's a bummer. I wonder if they'll do Cobra Kai next or something with Hilary Swank. I'm sure they can come up with another one that maybe doesn't tie quite so
They,
uh,
mm,
closely to Cobra Kai.
I forgot what I read, but that I read somewhere there was a reason why they didn't bring Hilary Swank back because
Just expensive.
they brought all the other people back from the movies, but they like skipped over her Karate Kid movie.
I also don't even know how they would do that because it's totally separate from.
Yeah, and I think that's why, because they brought back all the spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Cobra Kai. They brought back all the original like cast members from, the Karate Kid series, but they skipped over Hilary Swank's Karate Kid movie and didn't bring her back. Because I guess it just didn't really fit in like the timeline of whatnot.
Honestly, I'm excited for whatever they do next. I hope they do another kung fu show that's not the Karate Kid. That's just fun,
Yeah,
not about
and
high schoolers but adults. That'd be
I
great.
mean, but high schools are where it's at because you can make a show while they're young and then keep going for a while before they get too old. You
Yeah,
know,
but you get stuff
yeah.
like Warrior. I mean, that's an amazing show. I don't think they're going to get anything into that caliber, but
Right, yeah. I mean, even Stranger Things has to come to an end because the kids are getting so old now. Like they're adults now. They have to end it. But yeah, get them while they're young, milk it, have fun, move on. I mean, part of what made Cobra Kai so great is because of all the interluding backstories they had with the original
yeah,
trilogy.
I had the right amount of nostalgia.
Yeah, so it's like, man, remember this, remember that. It's like they kept bringing back old characters and old, quotes and nostalgia. It's great because they had the source material to work with.
Hmm.
So it'll probably be different if they make a new IP because like they're not going to have any like backstory to work with. It's like, hey, here's a whole bunch of new characters that we've never seen. Yeah, I mean, it could still work. It's still fine, but that's one of the reasons Cobra Kai was so successful.
Yeah, yeah, man. I don't know. It's exciting. I hope. I'm sad it's ending, but I understand why, and I'm glad they get to end it on their own terms. That's what's most important. Let
Hmm.
art be art, not not guided by monetary, but by imagination. You probably get more good stuff than bad.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for Netflix because that's going to be one less show that they're going to have under their belt. Because I mean, Cobra Kai is one of those strong shows about why people have a Netflix account, and once it's gone, that's just one less reason for people to have a Netflix account now.
Yeah.
Because Netflix is oversaturated with a bunch of useless content, so there's not a lot of reason to have a subscription there. We've talked about before.
Yeah, I have one. I know that they're getting rid of those passwords and stuff, password sharing, next month, which is ridiculous. We'll probably keep it because we watch a lot of true crime and garbage on
Hmm.
there.
Yeah,
Uh, but I don't want it. It's if they're gonna, I think my biggest issue is they keep canceling shows. They don't let them finish because it's not the way that they view metrics.
yeah,
So literally anything you watch on there is like, oh, it's gonna get canceled soon. So
yep. Um, I haven't read too much about their password sharing policy that they're going to implement. Is it going to affect like making another account going forward, or is it going to like mess up the accounts we already have? Because because I'm sure each of us have like 3 accounts on there, one for me, one for my kids, one for my wife, whatever.
there's like a family plan that where you get 4 screens or whatever, but I guess they're limiting it to being in the same IP address, or I don't know. But you're apparently I can't. You have 4 screens, but you can't share them with friends or family.
Yeah, I don't know how that's supposed to work.
I don't even know how they're going to be able to guide it. What if I go on vacation and I need to?
Yeah, because I'm like, if they just limit like profiles, it's like, hey, each Netflix account can only make 3 profiles. So if you want a fourth profile, you have to like buy a whole new Netflix account. That I could understand.
It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I know that the CEO actually just left either today or yesterday, 2 days ago. One of the original co-founders. So
He's,
something going on over there.
yeah, lots of money being lost.
Yeah.
Better get out while you can.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. There's just not much going on. I mean, if there is
It's
more
just a
news
little,
going on, it hasn't been brought to my attention. You know, I check the comments on these videos. I haven't really seen anything, so I guess just us talking about whatever is working
yeah.
for people.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's
But
just like, yeah,
nice
we
for
just
us.
we just talk about random topics. We can go on for a while, but I'm kind of scrolling through the interwebs here. Cardi B says her husband Offset was throwing up and screaming after he learned about Takeoff's death.
Yeah, I would too. That's sad.
Yeah, that's Houston, Texas. That's yeah. I mean, because that's close to us. That whole situation just sucks.
Yeah.
Now, here's something odd that happened. That happened down here in Killeen, where I'm at. So the other day, like a day or two ago, a news story hit. A new teacher at one of the middle schools in Killeen, I think it was like Rancière Middle School, has just been fired because I don't know if it was a man or a woman, but I'm pretty sure they were white. And I say that because he gave all the middle school students in his class a homework assignment full of like racial slurs.
Really.
He or she went to the internet and printed out some, and it's like it was like a word search and like a coloring thing. It looked like really childish, like paperwork of like fill in the blanks.
Like meant for kids.
Yeah, meant for kids. It was 4 different worksheets, and it was about I guess the assignment was about trigger warnings or some trigger words is what it was called. He gave them assignment about trigger words. And so all 4 of these like childish elementary worksheets where they had to color in, do a word search, fill in the blank, were all racial slurs and curse words. And so they're doing this homework assignment like after school. Some of the kids were working on it because everyone had left for the day. And one of the teachers was walking through the hall and she saw a student working on this assignment, and she looked down and saw it was full of curse word stuff, and she's like, "What is this? What are you working on?" And the kid's like, "Oh, it's my homework assignment from so and so's class." And she's like, "Are you serious?" And so she calls the parents and tells them what's going down. Calls the principal, and it's this whole fiasco. And needless to say, the teacher like got fired. But it's just like everyone is just so confused. They're like, why would you do this? Why would you think it's okay to give children a homework assignment on racial slurs and curse words? Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
Like, literally, one of the fill in blanks said, like, this is what you call black people. And it's just like, what the? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, people are just stupid.
And this is like the other day. Like, why?
Yeah, what did you think was going to happen?
I just want to know the purpose of the assignment. Why did that teacher think this was okay? What were they trying to accomplish? Because I'm so confused on why this happened.
Yeah.
Because to even get an assignment full of curse words, you would have to like manually make that like on the internet or on a website or something. Because there's not just like a children's book full of curse words just laying around for them to fill out. You had like customly make that and then print those out. You know,
I'm sure they're probably on like a Fox News or some website or a Reddit, some deep web, whatever that they follow, and then they found it like, oh, this will help keep our kids non woke, and they're like, oh, let's do that, and then they just downloaded it.
It's like, why? Why this? I mean, because that's when you hear stuff like this, that's always the question: is why? Why did this happen? Because it's not like why was this allowed? Because it wasn't allowed. Like obviously this was bad, so they're just trying to figure out why did it happen. It, it's so dumb, and I don't know what the resolution is supposed to be besides firing that person. But it's just like, why did this happen?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know, man. The world is in a weird spot. That's all I can say. I don't know. I can't ever get my head, you know,
Yeah, no
wrapped
rhyme or
around.
reason. Um, da 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 da. Alec Baldwin. They finally came to a consensus, or I guess charges. If you remember that whole fiasco on the movie
Yeah,
Rust, where he unintentionally killed someone.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I
so
feel like they had to bring the charges, but I don't think they'll stick. Obviously,
so
you have to
the
go through that process.
the judge is charging him, the assistant director, and then I guess the chick that was handling the guns. She charged all three of them with involuntary manslaughter, which is fair because it's kind of it's apparent that they didn't intentionally murder someone, but at the same time, how did three different people working with these prop guns not know there was live ammunition? It's like they're all accountable in some form or fashion. So, each one of them could get like up to 5 years in jail for involuntary manslaughter. It sucks. The whole situation sucks. It's just because again, why? Why did this happen? How did this happen? How did live ammunition get on a filming set? You're always supposed to use blanks. It was a freak accident back in the day whenever it happened to Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, when they were filming The Crow. But when they were filming The Crow, they had crunch time and they had like five different departments or five different shifts of departments and people handling the movie, working on different things. So there was a bunch of like stuff that was overlooked when people came in for different shifts while they were crunching to finish this movie. And
Yeah,
and then live ammunition somehow got into the gun because five different shifts weren't able to check properly and he got shot and he died. But for this movie, how does that it just doesn't happen. Why? There should be, under no circumstance should you have live ammunition on a real movie set. It should always be blanks.
yeah,
So
yeah. They
it's
shouldn't.
messy,
I think at this point they shouldn't even use real guns. Like,
right?
don't even put that in there because the blanks can still kill you because they have to have shells in them, even if they don't shoot like
If they
propel any.
don't fire, right?
Yeah, so I think maybe like the smart idea would be, unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but to move away from real guns and actually use, prop guns and maybe via VFX, special effects. That would be a good use of it, is to make the muzzle flash and stuff. But what do I know? I'm not a smart person.
I mean, to be fair, why would anybody expect live ammunition to be on a film set? Because obviously the guns are meant to look real. The blanks are meant to look like real bullets, but you know, no one would expect real bullets to be there. So it just sucks for all parties involved, and it sucks for the
Yeah,
chick that died.
yeah, that's unfortunate.
I
I
mean, naturally they're gonna try to fight it. They're gonna be like, yeah, we didn't. They're gonna keep fighting it and whatnot. But it just sucks. Like I can only imagine how that's gonna affect his career, like going forward, like involuntary manslaughter. I mean, you haven't seen him on SNL since, and he played a great Donald Trump.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just
I
yeah,
just don't know. I know a lot of gun people are like, well, gun safety, but I feel like it's just different on a movie set, and you have like a gun handler. That's literally their job, is to make sure the guns are safe to use. So why would he need to do the safety gun safe? Like,
right, because that's what he hired them for.
that's what their job is to do. It's like if I go rock climbing and then somebody, I go to a rock climbing gym and someone puts the harness on and does all that stuff, checks all the stuff. am I supposed to double check it as well? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm
I
just
mean, yeah,
there.
that's literally their job.
Yeah, that is their job, is to make sure. Or if I go on a carnival ride, their job is to make sure that I'm in the seat properly. That's not my job. If I fall off, who gets in trouble? Me or them? I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a
I don't
whole
know.
mess.
It's a whole mess. Yeah. It's unfortunate. I'm sure he, I don't know. We'll wait to see how it goes, because I'm sure there's a lot of information we don't know. We weren't on set, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Well, in brighter news, if we want to come around back to some positive stuff that we normally circle back on, Ant-Man uh and the Wasp: Quantumania coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, that's cool. Hope it's good.
I mean, it's Marvel, and they don't really disappoint, in my opinion, unless it's the Thor movies. Then that's a separate conversation. But yeah, it looks cool. Kevin Feige has revealed. I mean, I don't know how much of a bomb this is for everybody, but he revealed that Kang's throne, his chair, is his time traveling device. I don't know if that's like a spoiler for people.
That's interesting.
So I mean,
I heard
sure.
a theory that it has something to do with Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, because all of that stuff around him looks like the rings.
Yeah, they because they still never explain that. Because they have been hinting at the rings being more than just rings, but they haven't really said what. Now with the Infinity Stones, it was pretty obvious. We all knew where that was going, but the whole ring thing they're building up to, I'm like, I wonder where it's going. Because some people are like, oh, maybe it's Galactus, and there could be all sorts of things. But yeah, him having the time traveling chair, it it reminds me of Doctor Doom, because in the comics that's what Doctor Doom has. He's got that teleporting chair, and even at one point Thanos has like a teleporting chair where he can get around the universe, but obviously they don't show that in the movies. So the fact they're giving it to Kang is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be good. I'm excited to see Jonathan Majors
Yeah,
in a big role like that.
get
And
to
I
be the
think it'll be
villain.
great moving forward. It'll be nice to finally have this whatever story kind of move forward with whatever they're doing next, because the last couple of movies have been very, I don't know if they were trying to wrap everything up or build everything out, because it was a lot of mixed messages and signals, because it seemed like they retired people like Thor and Hawkeye and like pretty much all the
Well,
original
yeah, because
Avengers.
they've been doing it for years. They're done.
They also built out a bunch of people. It's just really confusing.
Yeah, we're literally just gonna have to watch, because this is the first movie in the next phase. So this movie is gonna have to pave the way for the next 7 movies. So let's gonna see what direction they want to go in. I'm curious to see how Jonathan Majors portrays Kang, because from the trailer, because obviously the trailers don't show you much. Which is I'm glad Marvel does that. They purposely withhold information so you can be surprised when you see the actual movie. But I'm curious to see on how intimidating he's going to be as the villain, because from the trailers he doesn't look that intense. He looks more calm and collected. So I wonder how threatening he's going to be. Like, because this version of Kang is supposed to be the big evil one, and the other ones are just variants of him. But apparently this Kang is supposed to be like the main one, which means obviously he's going to get away or escape, because we're going to see him in future movies along with his variants. But yeah, because in Loki they said, yeah, this is the main one. This is going to be the main bad guy, Kang.
Yeah.
But he seems pretty calm and collected in the trailer. I don't know if he's going to like be yelling or be threatening. I just, I'm trying to see where the villainous stuff is going to come in.
I'm sure he's going to be very subtly threatening and probably crazier than Thanos is. They got to build him up. So he's got to be just as calm, cool, and collective, but then when he gets mad, he's got to be even scarier. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I wonder how they're going to flesh out his story, because in this particular movie, it's obvious he just wants to escape the quantum realm, because for whatever reason he can't. I guess we have to watch and find out why. If he has a time traveling chair, why can't he just leave? So there's obviously something more going on here. But I kind of want to know what his motivation is because obviously with Thanos, they did the whole like, oh, well, the universe isn't balanced. I need to kill half the universe because of resources, which is a pretty stupid. Killing off half the universe isn't going to solve that problem. But whatever. That was Thanos' motivation for the cinematic universe. Fine, whatever. I wonder what Kang's cinematic universe motivation is going to be because they've they've retconned his story in the Marvel comics in the past year, and I wonder if the retcon is going to reflect him in the movies. Because usually when they retcon stuff in the comics, it's because they want to like reflect the movies or something in some capacity. In the comics, they retcon him to be like, oh, well, he's doing all this stuff because of his love for Ravonna Renslayer, who in the Loki show was the black chick, who was, I guess Clive Owen's somewhat love interest. But she was a completely different character than the comics. So it's kind of weird. Like, is Kang going to be doing this for a love interest, or does he just want power? Like, he's doing this for a reason. So I'm curious when we watch Quantumania, like what his end goal is. Because obviously his base goal is to get out of the quantum realm, but once he's out, what does he want to do from there?
Yeah. Really interesting. I'm excited to see how it unfolds and what they do with
Yeah.
actual threat. I really hope that they take their movies a little more seriously. Not that they weren't before; they were making good movies, but it would just be nice to get rid of some of the levity and actually have like some stakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the last movie we got was Thor: Love and Thunder, and they overcorrected with the comedy, and that really took away from that movie. Doctor Strange was more serious, and that was fun, with a little balance of comedy. So yeah, it's definitely gonna pave the way for the next. Like this is the opening movie for Phase what 4, Phase 5. What are we on?
Boy, you're asking the wrong person.
Whatever phase we're on, this is gonna be the opening for this phase. So this is gonna set the tone for the next 6 or 7 movies until how does it end? Avengers and what was it? Avengers Infinity War or something? I don't know.
In-game
It,
Infinity War.
something, yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it plays out. I believe it comes out next month, right? February.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't bought tickets for that. I assume you guys haven't either.
No, we haven't been going to the movies too much lately. We went yesterday to see Megan. It was the first time in a hot minute,
Oh
but
yeah, how was that?
it was great, wonderful, really good movie.
Yeah, I'm
Lots of
looking.
laughing, really funny. Not really funny, but it had some funny moments, and it was pretty. Wasn't like terrifyingly spooky or anything, but it was pretty solid, honestly. It was
Um, any any comparisons to Chucky, or is it like its own separate beast?
definitely its own. It reminds me a lot of the Chucky, the newest Chucky movie that came out, where they tried to make it modern.
Oh yeah, with the AI with what's his name?
Yeah, they Mark Hamill. They
Mark
tried,
Hamill. Yeah, they made the AI go crazy.
yeah, which wasn't sanctioned by the guy who created Chucky.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, it was very
we
different.
yeah, we've been watching the TV show, and the TV show is amazing. It's really good. Um, it has all. It's a lot like Cobra Kai, where they're bringing back characters. There's a lot of references to the old ones,
Hmm.
while keeping it new and fresh. It's really gruesome, really bloody. But yeah, the Megan is a lot like the Chucky remake with Mark Hamill, but done better, much better.
Hmm. Well, yeah, it's on my list of movies to watch. We saw The Menu and some other films too, and that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he was fun.
Well, I think that's about all we have to cover for this week. Um, this week's episode of Human Talking Podcast. We kind of were all over the place. This was more like a general discussion. It seems like this week because there wasn't too much going on, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, a little catch up, and once we start to some episodes will be like that until we have exactly the type of news we want to look at and
The big major stories, but yeah, it seems pretty tame this week.
hmm
Well, Other than that, you got any parting words you want to leave the people, Brylon?
No, just enjoy your weekend or weekday, whatever, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Well, that wraps it up for this episode of Humans Talking Podcast. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I guess we'll just end it on that note. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.